Hello and welcome to your digital Dayton Metro Library. My name is Jordan. I use he, him, his pronouns, and I am proud to host Rainbow Resources, the podcast that helps connect you to LGBTQIA+ and allied resources in and around the greater Dayton and Montgomery County area. Without further ado, let's head to our first segment, Q+A. So today we're joined by Danny Kallenberg. Danny, welcome.
Hey, thanks, Jordan. I think I'm going to have to raise my energy here. Hearing how excited you are to have me.
Well, I'm so glad you're here. You are here representing PFLAG Dayton. What is that?
So PFLAG Dayton is a local chapter of the nation's oldest and largest organization to provide a caring, just, and affirming world for Q+ people, as well as those that love them.
Wow, that's amazing. So I feigned ignorance at the beginning. That's a little interviewer's trick. But I am actually a PFLAG kid myself, not locally, but I grew up in the warmth and embrace of PFLAG. So PFLAG has a special place in my heart. Danny, how did you first get involved in PFLAG Dayton?
Yeah, I think the first time that I got connected was when a family member came out to our family, and I just wanted to learn how to be the best ally possible.
Right.
And so the organization, as a national organization, it started from a family member. It was a mother
Right.
acting as an advocate on behalf of her son back in 1973. And so for over 50 years, PFLAG has been part of this movement of love, really building community and trying to provide resources where they can. So currently, Dayton is just one of 350 chapters across the country.
350?
Right.
Oh my gosh.
And we like to brag about the things that we're doing here, but because each chapter has its own flavor.
Right.
But there's always certain pillars that each chapter strives to, because we are part of this national organization and truly a national movement. So the personal connection was really about, how do I be a better ally? And here with this mother who first started that movement, it was that act of an ally. And so when I legitimately Googled, okay, what are the options? How do I do this to get involved, both to learn and to grow and provide support? PFLAG was the first thing that came up. And so at the time, we were living in New Jersey, and so we got connected with the chapter in Princeton, New Jersey.
Wow.
And yeah, for us, that was only about a half an hour ride, and we would go down there as frequently as we could. Both because we loved Princeton, but also because PFLAG meetings. So even when I was traveling for work, would always make returns when possible to join those meetings. So.
Well, that sounds like it's made such a big difference and impact in your personal life. Could you speak a little more about how PFLAG Dayton provides support and resources to both LGBTQIA+ and allied folks in Montgomery County? Yeah,
so I hinted before, each chapter has its own flavor, but it's really kind of like three pillars of activity that the PFLAG work falls under. And it's really support, education, and advocacy. So all of the things that we're doing are somehow tied to one of those kind of three pillars. And for us, we've then tried to just have that community building aspect kind of be the umbrella encompassing piece of that. So when we moved here, and that community piece is really what's driving kind of like the where we progress or where we pull back, because we're trying to do a good job at listening to what the community is actually asking for or needing, as opposed to just some things that we might want or think might be really great, cool ideas ourselves. So when we moved here 4-ish years ago during COVID, Dayton at that time, it's been running a long time. So today they've been running for 31 years.
Wow.
Started as like a little house group out in Yellow Springs, and a number of folks who are still around in the area. It's really, really cool. And then when they officially incorporated was in '94, and then kind of with that move to Dayton.
Wow.
So yeah, they've been officially incorporated for 31 years, but it's been closer to 40 that they've actually been operating, providing love and care across the Miami Valley. Anyways, so when we moved here 4 years ago, at that juncture, that support aspect, which is really a key component kind of how we got tied into PFLAG in Princeton, but here as well, there was a one meeting per month that was kind of that platform for both the support as well as kind of the socialization aspect. And it was a different dynamic than we were used to in Princeton. There, it was, that meeting was really geared for parents, friends, caregivers, to be there and work through very raw emotions. Because while orientation and identity and expression are very much, unique experiences for the individual who identifies as such, it also is an experience, a true journey for the people around them in their life. Because sometimes you have fantastic family, friends, allies that rally around and provide support and care instantly. There's others that want to do that but don't know how. And then there's others that it's grief, it's anger. They don't know how to deal with that. And so a lot of times, particularly then in Princeton, people just bringing a lot of emotional baggage
to process.
Sometimes to sit in total silence, sometimes to ask questions, sometimes to share fear. And so it's kind of that space to ask questions, to share their own journey without offending. And so that role of the ally in that space is really important. We're not counselors, we're not therapists, we're not psychologists, but we are peers on this a similar journey, not the same one, but a similar one. And so we just try and share, all right, what has been some of our own experiences and how have we looked for resources, found resources in some cases, found peers as guidance, as encouragement, as here's things that worked for me. Perhaps it'd be worth considering introducing folks. Well, here's a network that has been safe. Here's another group that we've found friends through, that sort of thing. So that is what we are coming from. And here it was that kind of that bigger aspect, which has a ton of value, right? The exposure, because so many people who think they're allies, they don't have, or they don't realize how many people are in the Q+ community in their life. And so, oh yes, I have a gay friend, right? Like that kind of concept. Or yeah, I know somebody who's trans or non-binary or asexual. Do they really know that? And so like exposure is huge. And so it's really cool to have that kind of meeting here in Dayton. It just wasn't what we needed at that time, or what we didn't think we needed at the time. So we ended up getting involved because it is PFLAG after all, and we are a PFLAG family. And so then it was, well, what if we also add this other meeting? One that is intended for parents and caregivers. And so that was presented to the board at that time, and they thought, okay, great idea. And especially since we offered to run it. So myself and my wife, Sandra, which she is the brains and the engine behind a lot of things that we're doing. Anyways, so we are currently at 4 meetings a month.
Wow.
That are providing community support, and there's a possibility of a 5th that we're working on. We'll see what happens.
You heard it here first, folks.
Yeah. Right. We're trying to listen and respond to the needs that are around us. So that's kind of like the community, the support aspect. But we also offer a lot of social components. The education piece is actually part of our community meetings that happens. So of the 4, one of which is that communal space, and we bring in outside speakers. Sometimes it is business owners in the community. It might be leaders from other nonprofits in our community, authors, professors, speaking on a whole variety of topics. Most of the time, Q plus direct or Q plus adjacent, and kind of what have they gone through? What can that then be shared with others? So sometimes it is just a true adventure story, from an author. Or other times it's, hey, here's stuff that I am now teaching about, and how it kind of like aligns with what we're doing is this movement of love. And then the third part is the advocacy part, which for us is super critical always, but especially right now with how much legislation is being rolled out, what seemingly is nonstop, particularly decisions and legislation that is against our community or would have downstream negative effects or perhaps even more immediate. So that's rallies, protests that we both participate in as well as organize, just trying to stand up for human rights.
There's just so much that your group is doing. It's really amazing. There's the advocacy, there's the education, and then there's the group for parents, where it really seems like it's a space for grace, right? Where folks, maybe they're not there yet, but they want to get there, and so you're giving a space for grace. I think that's wonderful. It's probably hard to pick with everything you're doing, but can you think of a particular time where you saw that PFLAG Dayton was truly making a difference in the community?
Yes. You hit it very well. There are many, many constant ones because we've got satellite groups up in Miami County. We've done stuff in Greene County. So like there's a lot, and there's again a lot of raw emotion. So there is a. However, the thing that stands out, we have a huge scholarship program. Again, the folks that started our chapter and kind of set things up 30 years ago, it is in roughly 2000 that the scholarship program got started.
Wow.
And so it's been running a really long time and started small, but they would do their own fundraisers at that point in time, like black tie galas run out of their house.
Wow.
They did a dancing type thing, same time frame that Dancing with the Stars was going on. So they had this When the Stars Come Out, and so it was a lot of Q plus celebrities of Dayton that were a part of the kind of our dancing thing, and folks got to do that. And that ran for about 10 years, and then Running with Pride came into the scene. So Running with Pride is our annual fundraiser, 5K.
Wow.
It's 10 years that it's been running, and all the significant majority of that funds our scholarship program.
Wow.
So like over the last 2 years, we've given away $40,000 in scholarships.
Wow.
Here
Wait, could
to
you say that
Dayton
again?
students.
$40,000?
$40,000 over the last
Wow.
2 years to Dayton students.
Wow.
Or Miami Valley based students. That's it. And it can be grad students, it can be associates, it can be undergrad, it can be trade school. You just have to be a full-time student and to come from the larger Miami Valley. And so it's really cool. So that has been to see the 10 students that we awarded scholarships to over the last 2 years to be able to, we helped make certain things possible in that regard. So I like that aspect. Yeah.
No, that's phenomenal. Where can our listeners and viewers go to find more information about PFLAG Dayton?
Best spots are our website. We're doing our best to keep that current. pflagdayton.org. And we're on Instagram. That is our other spot that we're pretty active. We did get off Facebook around 6 months ago. I think it was 6 months ago. No, April timeframe.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so those are the best two ways. Or get on our email distribution list. We send out monthly updates so that folks know kind of what's happening with all the meetings. We do special events and where we'll be, because there are so many cool groups across Dayton, including the Dayton Metro Library, that we're trying to be present to, with, collaborators on. So
Right.
yeah, that's another great way for folks. So
Absolutely. So check that out. Is there anything else you would like folks to know about PFLAG Dayton?
Come and join us. We're here for you. That's really what we're about. Whether it's, we may not have the direct answer on the spot, but we are a connector to so many other resources. Sometimes, yes, we might have the answers or the friendship, that you might be seeking. Sometimes we might be a redirect, to somebody or something else that you're truly looking for. We love being as connected as we are, because there really are some fantastic resources here in Dayton.
Yeah. So make some connections. Well, Danny, thanks for that. Now it's time. This takes a long time to fan out. So, Danny, are you a fan of libraries?
Yes, especially the Dayton Metro Library.
Thank you.
Obviously.
Can you share a favorite personal experience about libraries with us?
Honestly, I think that I've had more fun learning about libraries from you and some of your colleagues over the last 4 years than I ever would have imagined.
Wow.
I mean, we go to the main branch the most, so that's our biggest exposure. But certainly we've stopped in on at least half of the other 16, 17 total, correct?
Yeah.
And so I actually was on a phone call at work, someone that I counsel, and I was talking about the podcast tonight, and was also talking about our metro system, and he's like, do you actually work for the library? You got to get this out there. You're a great salesman of the Dayton Metro Library System, because there's just so much stuff that's happening here and all the time, right?
Yeah.
I mean, 10,000 programs in a single calendar year.
Right.
That is some serious. And then the size of our collection, top 15 in the country, right? I mean, that's huge to be competing at that scale.
Wow.
So that's really impressive. But it's that the tagline, right? That you belong here.
Free to belong.
It is a community hub.
Right.
And so having spent a lot of time across a lot of branches, observing, appropriately so, when folks are just that sheer intellectual curiosity, looking for the thing that they're after, doing their own thing. And it is, whether it's meetings, it is research, it is programs, the things, the way in which it is both a gathering place as well as an affirming space, somewhere where you can be alone or in a group. It's all good, free to belong. And so I think that's been fun. As a child, I didn't pay attention to libraries much. There was one that was close to us, and you only went there if you needed a book for a book report sort of situation. So.
Well, I'm glad you're here now.
Thanks.
And shout out to West. We love hosting Rainbow Resources here. Danny, you mentioned the PFLAG Dayton was incorporated in 1994.
Yeah.
It's a great year. Do you know when Dayton Metro Library started?
I do not.
1888. Yeah.
That's impressive.
Yeah. Oh, do you hear that?
No.
I think, pretend you do. I think it's time to spill the tea. History so often focuses on kings and queens, presidents and prime ministers. But everyday people make history too. People like Jean Manford and her son, Morty. Morty was an out and proud gay activist in the 1970s. The 70s was a decade fraught with contradictions for LGBTQIA+ and allied people, filled with brave truth-telling and bigoted mudslinging, righteous rebellions, and reactionary reprisals. Morty Manford pressed on through it all, working with fellow members of the Gay Activists Alliance to disrupt a swanky dinner, to demand the passage of a first-of-its-kind gay rights law in New York City in 1972. Attendees of the dinner reacted violently to the disruption. Morty was attacked and hospitalized. Morty survived and went on to fight for change. But from then on, he wasn't the only Manford fighting. Jean Manford, Morty's mother, had had enough. Jean didn't consider herself a joiner of groups, let alone a leader. In a later interview with historian Eric Marcus, Jean even said, "I never tried to do anything, but I wasn't going to let anybody walk over Morty." So Jean Manford wielded the weapon that is mightier than the sword, a simple pen, and she wrote a letter that changed history. To learn what happened next, check out the charming children's book, The Mother of a Movement, Jean Manford, ally, activist, and co-founder of PFLAG, written by Rob Sanders and illustrated by Sam Calda. Available with your Dayton Metro Library card. And now, folks, it's the time we've all been waiting for. The most exciting moment for bibliophiles everywhere, our final segment, Rainbow Reading Rex. All right, it's time for the grand reveal. Danny, one of my favorite parts of my job as a librarian is using my expertise to recommend a book that I think someone else would love. So I have specifically curated this book selection for you, and I think you're going to like it. So let's do our grand reveal.
Drum roll.
Don't try this at home. Raising LGBTQ Allies. This is by Chris Tompkins. This is really well reviewed, including a starred review in Publishers Weekly. I think this is right up your alley. I think this is a perfect PFLAG book, so I really hope you enjoy it.
Thank you, Jordan. You're right. Right up my alley, in terms of how do we inspire that next generation to both put in the work, to learn, to grow. Thank you.
Absolutely. And if you would like to check that out, go to DaytonMetroLibrary.org and you can check it out for yourself. Oh dear, that sound means we are out of time. Danny, how do we find info about PFLAG Dayton again?
PFLAGDayton.org or PFLAG Dayton on Instagram.
Okay, great. So join us next time, please, for Rainbow Resources. And in the meantime, come check out Dayton Metro Library, where everyone is free to belong.